Hello folks! It has been a long while since I made a WeakAuras tutorial guide, so I thought I would get back on it now that we're heading into Battle for Azeroth. So for those who've watched my previous ones, which I hope is all of you, because I'm not going to run through the basics again, you may remember in the first one that I mentioned the example of creating a weak aura on a boss. Something specific for a boss fight, and I believe I used the example of WeakAuras with his Necrotic Embrace. This video I'm going to walk through how to make a weak aura in that specific context for a boss fight ahead of time so that you can prepare in advance. You can look at the tactics and know what to do, of course, but when you're there and you've got all these weak auras planned out and it'll pop up and almost you'll be telling yourself in the future what to do at a certain point, that can be really helpful. So for now, tactics aren't out. I've not made my own, I've not even looked for any, so I know about as much as you guys for this, which I feel is a good position to be in. So I had a look through here in the Dungeon Journal, we have all the Battle for Azeroth stuff, and we're going to head into Uldir, the first raid. And the first thing I noticed when I was having a quick look through is on Zekphos here. So he has a tip here for damage dealers, which is to consider your positioning when Roiling Deceit is about to expire. Now that's always a big exclamation mark for me, because if you think of all the run-out when you have this kind of abilities, a lot of them are really important to deal with. The WeakAuras one comes to mind, Gorothi Worldbreaker with the Decimation Circles. There's probably 100 other examples I could come up with if I thought about it for a while. So I know that I'm going to need to deal with this correctly. I don't know what it does yet, but we can look into that. So if we head down to Roiling Deceit here, it's going to be a debuff on me because it corrupts the target, and then it deals damage every few seconds, and it will form an ominous cloud upon expiration. These clouds drift, and if someone touches them, they'll spawn a Guardian. So in my mind I'm kind of thinking, I'm going to need to drop this outside of the raid, because it sounds bad to be summoning ads. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe when the tactics come out we'll realise there's a reason to spawn these, but we can change that weak aura when we get to that point. For now, let's lay the groundwork. So we're going to go into weak auras, and we're going to make a new one with an icon. You can make it with text or with a model if you like, if you for some reason wanted to have the Lich King showing up, but I like the plain, simple icons. So we're going to name it Roiling Deceit, unsurprisingly. And as we said, from the sound of it, this sounds like a debuff, so let's check it out. It's going to be a debuff on me, because it's corrupting the target, and let's put this in. Now, if we've guessed this right, if this is the name of the debuff, if it's a debuff that can be applied to players, then WeakAuras will find it. It'll be in the text files for WeakAuras, hidden in the game, and it'll come up with something. There we go. So it's come up, 5 of the 6 matches have the same icon here, so I'm thinking maybe that's, one for the heroic version, one for the mythic version, that sort of thing. It looks like this is the right thing, so we're getting along the right tracks. We're going to do this the usual way that we always do for WeakAuras, so loading combat, don't care about the class. We're going to think about encounter IDs here, so remember what I said in the previous video, you're looking for the Zekphos one, which is 2136, and that'll send our new weak aura all the way down here, because it's no longer loaded when on the encounter. It's gonna... yeah, so it's upon expiration. This is gonna have a cooldown, right? So we can put that in place. I'd like the cooldown text, because I want to know how long this is going to take, and how long do I have till I have to run out. And then text. So in previous videos, I've gone through stacks, and I've gone through progress and all that stuff, but text can actually just be plain and simple anything you want to put in there. Now, I want this weak aura to help me on the fight. I don't want this to pop up with an icon I'm not familiar with, because maybe this is the first or second time we've done this fight. I'm going to need more information, so I'm going to put in full caps here, run out, and I'm going to center it at the bottom there. So now, when we first come to do this fight, if I'm thinking of another mechanic, or I'm trying to deal with something else, or even, even when we've got this on farm, and I'm just a little bit unsure because I'm focusing on other things, I'll now have this pop up and say, hey, run out, that's what you need to do with this in case you forgot. It can always be useful for you as a raider in case, I'm not tracking debuffs on you personally and I'm not able to call that out. This will give you much more control for yourself. So I'm going to put an animation on this so that it'll pulse, just to give us a little bit more, and obviously as before you can play sound in there and everything if you want. And that's it. Nice and simple. Here we have a weak aura that will only load when we're on this fight, and then when we come to do that fight, I've got this mechanic handled. I don't need to panic, I don't need to keep glancing at my debuff bars. I know that ahead of time I've prepared for this, and if something pops up, well, I've already planned out and told myself what to do. So just a nice little quick video. I hope that was helpful, and I hope that some people are going to put this into practice and get some preparation done ahead of time, so that when we get to this amazing looking raid, we can have some real good progress. See you guys.